Welcome, everybody. Green Line Breakdown, episode 8. We're back. Thanks for joining. Doing something a little different this week, having a roundtable, invited some of my friends on, talk about how the season's been going, kind of a quarterly report, see what their thoughts are, if I agree or not, if we agree with each other, see where the team's headed, what the future outlook may be, and some additional bonus questions I think you guys might find to be fun at the end of the episodes. Let me give you a little introduction of everybody who's on. Alec, feel free. Say hi.
Hi.
Jake in the corner.
What's up?
Spencer.
Howdy.
Thank you guys for joining. Let's get right into it. So we're recording this on Thursday. The Celtics are currently up on the Bucks, 50-30 last time I checked. Probably a little different now, but they're kind of taking care of them handedly. And we obviously won against the Raptors earlier in the week. I had said last week it was a short week, and I wasn't too concerned about what was ahead of us, and kind of take it as a break coming off of the 4-0 week we had last time. So, like I said, win against the Raptors pretty handily, and tonight against the Bucks. So, first thing I want to talk about on the table is what our thoughts were when the season started. You know, after free agency, after all the trades, after all the absences and who left the team, what was your personal feelings knowing we were going into the season without Jason Tatum, kind of what the roster was constructed like, and just how confident you were when that first game came around? I'll start with Alec. Well, what did you think?
A lot of people thought we would be like 500 ball or tanking for good picks or something. There was no doubt in my mind we would be at minimum a play-in team. I would have been surprised if we were playing 500 throughout. We're like a quarter of the way through the season. Rocky start, but I would have been really surprised if we had stuck at 500. I thought we came in with enough stability in the roster. JB, White, Pritchard, Hauser. We got the younger guys, Jordan Walsh, Shireman, a bunch of people on 2-8s from the main Celtics. I really didn't think there was going to be a problem. There'd obviously be an adjustment to be made with whoever we brought in from the offseason and that. So I wasn't surprised there, but definitely didn't think we'd be dysfunctional in any way. Play good. We are playing good. JB's a super max guy. The energy shifter. It's his 10th year in the league. He can lead this team. There's never a doubt in my mind. So I'd say
You're
right
confident in
now,
his abilities coming up to, like, I don't think Jaylen Brown's a bad player. I think he's a top 25 player. Did you think they would be where they are right now?
Right now, by the standings, no. I'd say they're exceeding my expectations. I thought are we 3 right now? We're between like 5 and 3, right?
We're the third seed at the moment, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could have been lower than that. We could have been like 5 or 6. I wouldn't have been surprised about that. But yeah, exceeding my expectations right now. JB putting up 30 every night is impressive. I'm a bit surprised. I figured they might be more assist heavy or he'd be more balanced, but I'm not complaining. We're winning.
Sure. Yeah. Jake, what do you think? Do you agree kind of with Alec, or were you more like pessimistic coming in, or right around where they are right now?
Real quick, that was kind of crazy. It's always 25, can't be 20, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was not like I was pessimistic. I just had low expectations it's not like I thought we were going to be a 500 team, maybe a little bit above 500, but without JT, I was more just like, fuck it, this is like a year to develop and see. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, I expected him to have a strong role, but see who else besides Jaylen Brown can fill roles on our team that we need. I think Cade has filled a good role to start the season. There's a couple other players, like obviously Jordan Walsh, but I had low expectations at the start of the season. It's more just been fun watching the team like gel together.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I was kind of looking at it of a future outlook where I'm not really expecting anything major. I would like to see them get into the playoffs, but I think the biggest thing for me was, can we see some of these younger guys that have been kind of sitting on the bench behind Drew and Porzingis and all those guys that we lost? Can some of these younger guys that we've been shuffling into the G League, can any of them pop out over the last 3 draft classes, right? Because I feel like we've had what people consider really good picks, even with our rookie this year with Gonzalez. Can any of those guys step up, make a difference? And when Tatum comes back, not just this year, but for like the next 3 years, can they be a solid core of the team? Or what are we doing? Because we're so strapped with the way the aprons have been. So that was my biggest thing, was, can some of these guys step up? Spencer, what do you feel like the team, where do you feel like they're at now, and what were you expecting out of them at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, they're way exceeding expectations, right? Like, I mean, the fucking hold on a sec. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, they're way exceeding expectations here. Like, Jaylen Brown was, obviously, it sort of feels like we've wasted his prime a little bit. Like, he's scoring 29 points a game without Tatum. We've lost all our other big scorers. He's not sharing the ball with anybody else. For me, like, I think obviously Kata has been like the biggest addition to this team with all those like pieces missing. He doesn't quite bring like the three ball that Porzingis gave us, but he kind of gives us his own defensive grit that someone like Robert Williams was like the last person to kind of give us this kind of energy. But seems like Cadis has a tendency to stay a bit healthier this season. I don't know. It seemed a bit irresponsible going into the season with such a big hole at like the big position, but
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, and then also, I think another big part of this rotation has been Josh Minot. I think he has been so fun to watch, dude. I think he's just like he brings like it's sort of like a Boston personality that he just sort of meshes with. And I like him in Missoula's relationship. I'd be sad to see him go if we had to make some moves at the trade deadline, but obviously that is realistic.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely going to look at the team and see what's available in the league. I don't think with the motion they have at the moment, they're going to sit tight. I think they're going to look for somebody else. Yeah, I agree. Going back to your point about Jaylen, this is kind of his peak. I mean, he's 30. He is a powerful guy on the court, always has been. I didn't doubt that going into it. I didn't think he'd be having this high of a scoring average this season, but I'm definitely not like against it. Great for the team. Great that he's carrying. His usage is high. But I agree. I feel like having nobody coming in as a big, it felt like that spot was empty when we started the season. And I still think they need to look for somebody to have any real shot at anything here, whether that's even making it to the conference finals. They definitely need to do some work, or we're really wasting just a pop of a team we have at the moment. We're lucky we are here, and I'm certainly not going to sour on it, but it definitely is the opportunities ahead of us. I like some of these guys, but we really got to look at the team and say, yeah, we can go get somebody and make the season even better. And that kind of goes into the next topic we're going to talk about. Getting into our next topic here. Obviously, this team coming into the season was constructed with a lot of unknowns. I mean, you had Brown, you had Derek, you had Pritchard. And at the beginning of the season, Derek really wasn't even coming through. So what we've seen in the first 20, 25 odd games is a couple of these guys that have kind of sprouted and become a major part. I want you guys to talk about who do you think on this team is a valuable asset, but not in a trade scenario. Someone that you can see blossoming this year that it will be good for years to come. Somebody you want to be part of the core when Tatum comes back, still have Tatum, Brown, Pritchard, and Derek. Somebody that can be part of the major rotation. So we'll start with Spencer there.
Well, I feel like if you've been able to afford to watch any of these games this year, or you found a reliable pirating website, I feel like you would have been able to see the growth of Hugo Gonzalez as a player. I feel like for me, like he like I've never seen a player like improve this quickly. He doesn't put up much stats yet. I feel like he's kind of not really utilized in Missoula's rotation right now. We're sort of a bit guard heavy. Like it's kind of hard to fit anybody in there right now, but he adds defense that like we haven't really had since Marcus Smart. We kind of, he brings like a little bit of playmaking, and like similarly to Minot, I feel like he's he just seems like he seems like a good face, which is important in Boston, like a good face for the camera. He's able to talk to people, he seems like a personable person. For Boston especially, I feel like people get torn apart in the media, like, not to speak on Anthony Simons or anything poorly, but he just seems to be like a little bit like a deer caught in the headlights with the media that I feel like he's probably not used to from somewhere like Portland.
I think there's some benefit to him being from outside the country. I don't think it's a language barrier, but it's almost like he's allowed to be more ignorant than like a normal college player coming into the NBA would. He's younger too. He's 19, right? He's not older. Definitely agree. He kind of has that shield to him. I remember when they drafted him at like 28 in the first round, people were saying at that time, like, oh, that he kind of slid. He's a good asset, somebody that needs to be trained up, but can be a valuable player. So, taking the rookie, not a bad choice. Alec, let's go to you. Who do you think really this year has impressed you the most? So much so that you want to get rid of him by the deadline.
Yeah, I like Spencer's point about Ugo, Spanish Ugo.
Oh, my
I
bad. My
agree. I think
bad.
he doesn't. Yeah, I mean, Scal gets it wrong too. I think he doesn't get enough minutes right now for him to be my like favorite new guy. And then of course I'm gonna say Josh Minot and realize he also doesn't get a ton of minutes in the last stretch. Earlier in the season, I think he was getting more. But I do really like Josh Minot. He's a motor guy. I think he plays really good defense so far. He dunks. Sometimes he has good shots from the 3-point. He's feels like he's somewhere between like years past Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. Like I think he just fits what, you may kind of started when he was the head coach and then Missoula took over and is kind of refined. He just feels like he's lining up to be on the roster in a good spot. I think he could be an alluring piece to other teams. I don't think we would trade him. I don't know that. Weirdly, a lot of teams don't favor defense like we have historically. But I do really like him. I like to see more. He got some good garbage time minutes against, I think, the Lakers the other day. So, yeah, show me more.
Yeah. He's somebody that scratches my brain where I'm looking for those guys that are like, they're busting the other team's balls or whatever it may be. Like he's making those critical plays randomly. Nobody's expecting him to, but he's just getting involved in every play. I remember watching I think it was the Cavaliers game at the beginning of the season. He just was in every scrum and pile and every rebound. Like he was just a part of it, whether he was getting the ball or touching it or not, or moving around. Like he was just in the area causing a disruption. And those guys are always good. Like you said, Pritchard early on.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart,
Marcus Smart was like that. If we could get Minot to be Marcus Smart with better shot selection, I love Marcus, but
I know that was a tough comparison that I made because I don't want to bring flashbacks to the Marcus Smart era, but he did win a depoy.
Yeah, and look, like I always think Marcus Smart was kind of pushed up by Celtics fans and media. Not to discredit him. I think he was a great player, but I'm also not going to stand here and say I saw Josh Minot, who's third or fourth year in the league, can become that guy. The toughness is there. Like you said, Marcus Smart had terrible shot selection. Nobody wanted him taking that goddamn shot at the end of a game. If it's something he can turn into and kind of mold himself out of, that would be great. So great point to it. And Jake, we'll finish up with you, but before we do that, is the half over? Can you give us a score check?
Yeah, it's 6-7 Celtics to $60.
6-7.
So when we started recording, it was a 14-point lead, went down to 4, and then we're about to 7. So Celtics are selling as usual right at the end of the half.
And Jake, you've been watching the game. I don't have my eyes on it right now. How are they looking?
I'm watching the play-by-play because I ain't got the streaming.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that right after this. We'll finish up with you real quick. Who's that one guy that you're just loving, again, seeing them blossom, and you hope the future is involved with them in a Celtics jersey?
Well, I'll take the layup since no one else is. Jordan Walsh has been pretty fun to watch at the start of the season. I mean, as a person, I live in Portland, Maine, so he was playing for the Maine Celtics like a year, 2 years ago, right down the street. So to watch him develop from just playing for our G League team to into what he is now has been like really fun. He's just all over the court, important rebounds. He might not have the craziest stat line every game, but he's there when it counts for steals, rebounds, putbacks, the right plays. It's been fun to watch.
Sure, he looks like he's on the trajectory where he can be something substantial for sure. I mean, he has the patience of being on the G League team, and you might be able to speak better on this, but how, like, are G League guys, when they come in as rookies and kind of train under that for a couple of years, is it worth it to them? Is it, if they're on the G League team for 3 years, it's kind of a bust? I mean, we saw kind of with J.D. Davidson, it never really worked out for him. I don't think Jordan Walsh is the same type of character. I think we saw him more often than not taking some minutes in the real games in the NBA. But do you think the G League works out for some guys like that, where they can be
Yeah.
there for 2 or 3 years?
So I mean, honestly, before living in Portland, I wasn't really tapped into like watching G League games. But now that I live here, I mean, I'm gonna watch some. I haven't been to any yet, but I'm gonna go to some this season. I was tapped into it for the last couple seasons. I think it's very beneficial for Jordan Walsh because he was very quick to get let his temper affect his game in the G League for his first season at least, and like you could just see like he get down a couple plays, and then his whole energy would just shift, and then his game would be off after that. And he clearly doesn't play like that anymore. So I think just maybe like minor improvements like that, like getting ready for the responsibility and like the role that you're going to play in the NBA for certain players is definitely beneficial for the G League.
Yeah, and I think that's like you going back to his temperament, right, where he would kind of just get on himself. I think that's a better lesson learned in the G League, where the media is not kind of vulturing you the entire time. You see that from guys the first couple of years. I mean, you kind of see this with Ja Morant. Obviously not the same kind of player, but people are getting on him all the time, harping, saying he gets in a bad mood and all of a sudden he's a terrible player. I think it's a lot easier for a young guy, not as skilled, to be able to get that kind of out in the G League and clean those things up without just, like I said, getting vultured. Yeah, I think those are all great answers. I think, me personally, those are 3 guys I don't want to see leave the team. Some guys you guys didn't mention that you kind of come see around on this team are like Anthony Simons. He's a guy they keep throwing up there for as a trade asset. And I would say I wouldn't mind seeing him get traded for something. He is somebody I was kind of high on coming into the season, and I don't believe he's made me believe he's worth sticking around. If we can get something better for him, I don't want to just give him up for nothing. But yeah,
I didn't know he was going to be Dame's clone when we got him.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's all Dame's good parts, but just not as good at any of them.
Well, yeah, obviously. Just that sidestep looks so crazy. Every time he does it, I'm like,
Yeah, it does.
It is impressive.
I probably can't say that. But
Honestly, I mean, I think it's pretty clear to see that the G League is working for us, though. You know, you think about that draft class where we got Carson Edwards. Who are those big
Pritchard.
3? Pritchard, yeah, Pritchard's sort of an
Yeah.
exception to what I'm about to say, but I
And
feel like, yeah, who was
not
the
the guy that he plays for Memphis,
yeah,
Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain. Yeah,
Well, he's on
Well,
Magic.
that's a
missed-
crazy draft. And
yeah,
the
we
fact
missed one.
we
Desmond
only have
Bain.
one of them right now.
Yeah,
Well,
fumble getting him in.
yeah.
Well, what I'm
Carson did
saying
that.
is, I feel like none of those guys panned out. Romeo Langford, especially, like,
Yeah,
none of those guys worked out. Now that we have a crew of G League players that we've been training over the years, it seems like it's really working to our benefit. So,
Yeah.
clearly
I'd
the
say-
G League's working.
Montrose, you got to get out to those games. My cousin and I went on a Valentine's Day date together to one of them like a couple years ago. We're both guys, don't read into it. I got to see a lot of that's when we had Tony Snell on when he was fighting to get his NBA
Hey.
guaranteed insurance for the rest of his career. It was really
Nice.
fucked up that nobody signed him.
Yeah.
But I saw Cato play. I saw JD Davidson. It was a good lineup. Dave, to your point, is the G League worth it? If we look at JD Davidson, who I liked, if I remember right, he played 2 years just on the G League, just on a main Celtics contract.
Yeah.
Last year was his 3rd year where he played on a 2-way. I thought he
Mhm.
provided good minutes when he got called up, and he was the G League MVP, which there's, maybe a gulf in talent there. But I think the difference is if you play on a 2-way the whole time. Jordan Walsh's first year was last year. He started on a 2-way. I think, Dave, you and I were at that Utah game where he got his first minutes. The crowd went nuts. Like, he has high expectations for what he was doing. I thought he didn't live up to them last year. I agree with Montrose, though. He's been great this year, but huge improvements. So I think if you have guys you draft or are confident in and you don't necessarily have the roster space or they need something extra, put them on a 2-way. Call them up for big minutes in a throwaway game. Or if you get racked with injuries, it helps them build up. They don't go nowhere. I think you can languish in the G League if you never get out. Like, who's in the dunk contest?
Mac McClung.
Mac McLeod
Like,
never works out.
there are some terrible people on NBA rosters. He could probably get a spot somewhere, but he's never worked out, even though he's a perennial star of the dunk contest. Not that translates.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's all about when you get those guys, second rounders, whatever it may be. A big part of it is how you're treating them in their process. And yeah, I agree. I think they did Jordan Walsh a little better than JD Davidson, but I also think they got to the point at the end where he'd been 3 years in, he had won the G League MVP. and they said, okay, we're gonna have we're gonna have a bunch of holes, and he's still not worth a shot. I agree, I trust the Celtics organization to make those decisions, and I'm gonna look at it as individually for each player to say, I don't think they believed in Davidson, but they believed in Jordan Walsh. But I agree with all you
Isn't
guys,
David?
all the three you said, to kind of go back to Montrose's point of watching the G League team, and Alec, you also watch the team. I kind of want to throw a bonus in here, and Jake, you had mentioned it. Watching basketball games this year, you've got no more TNT. Obviously, ESPN still has rights, Amazon Prime, and NBC. I don't know if you guys had heard before. I kind of talked about Amazon Prime and NBC. Now, I enjoy the feeds. I see both. I have both. I enjoy watching them. I think they're doing a hell of a job in terms of how they set up their visuals and the crews they have on. But that being said, you're splitting up major games between three players. Has it been difficult? Is it enjoyable this way? Are you getting as much of an experience of watching not just the Celtics, but the NBA in general this year? Has it been worse? What are your thoughts? Jake, we'll start with you first.
Real quick, I could see the I think the production is good on most of the platforms. I think there might be a few I haven't. Peacock, NBC, or I guess it's the same thing. Prime, and what was the fourth one?
ESPN.
ESPN. I've watched them. So all the production is good. I think I disagree with you a little bit. I think the Prime the Prime crew is a little bit I think it's Steve. I'm looking at it right now. It's Steve Van Gundy, Candace Parker, Dwayne Wade, and Blake Griffin, Taylor Rooks.
You
I
don't like
don't really
Taylor
know
Rooks?
for NBA analysis. I don't really know. I guess everybody else is cool, but like they just are not that entertaining. I don't know. But I think it's just so much money. It's so split up. Like Prime is this whole like its own subscription. Even if you have Prime and have Peacock on Prime, you still can't. You still have to get like I had to get the NBC whatever Boston local thing.
Yeah,
Like I had to get 2 or 3 different things through Prime just to get the Celtics,
sure.
and then I still don't get all the national games. So it's a little. And I for some reason I can't watch the Celtics right now. So I don't know what's going on.
It, definitely annoying. Weird question. Does anybody have Game Pass?
No.
Yeah.
Or,
Well,
sorry,
I
League
just
Pass?
canceled it. But
No, if I had gotten the free
No,
league
League
pass for
Pass, no.
voting on the Tatum 2s 2
So
years ago.
my problem with League Pass has been for like years is so you buy League Pass, you're expecting to get all the games. However, you don't get any of your local games. So
Right.
you like if you got it, you wouldn't get the Celtics games, and then you also wouldn't get the nationally televised games.
So it's almost becoming a worse product with how much they've split up between, because I feel like there's a lot on NBC and Amazon. Like they're not just getting like
Yeah.
one a week; they're getting days. I forget what
Yeah.
Amazon has,
Yeah.
Tuesdays or something, maybe
I think
Thursdays.
it's
Tuesdays, Fridays, I think. I think they
I
get
think
to
it's it's the something. I know Fridays is one of them.
So interesting standpoint from the league. I'm almost thinking like, are they trying to phase out League Pass? I never got it. Never even had a free trial. Never tried it, so I can't speak too much on it. But what is
Thursday,
it?
Friday, and Saturday is Amazon Prime days. Sorry, go
Mhm.
ahead.
Fridays and Saturdays. So that's kind of a good split. I mean, if you feel like you can only watch a basketball game on Fridays and Saturdays, which for me personally, like I don't like those games. I like the Tuesdays, the Sunday afternoons. I like watching those games on the local channels because you're not doing anything those days. You might as well watch a Celtics game. That's kind of how I view. But I could see people out there that are like, I only have time to watch them Fridays and Saturdays. Amazon's kind of a good package to have. That I'm okay with. Not saying it's an easy split, as long as it makes sense almost. But I don't know. Spencer, how do you feel? Have you been able to access the way you want? Are you missing out on something? Do you feel like it's weirdly split?
yeah, I mean, first of all, rest in peace, Stream East,
R.I.P.
obviously. And then, yeah, I mean, I honestly could give less of a shit about production value. I think it's cool and all if the graphics are clean, but like one place to watch all the games for like, a half decent price would be like it's not an insane thing to ask for, but for some reason it is impossible to get. Like the only good reason is because they're profiting way more of splitting it up this much. Like, and you got to respect that, I guess. But I'm just going to find alternative ways to view the games instead of watching them like regularly.
Mhm.
Otherwise, like sharing an account with friends is another good option. But it just seems crazy that that's like the lengths you have to go to watch games.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm
Definitely
not gonna
annoying.
pay for 4 different subscriptions to watch,
No, most people can't. I have NBC because I have an antenna. ESPN I'm usually getting through something. YouTube TV I feel like it ends up being like always the best. Like you can kind of get like majority of the sports between, not just basketball but football. I feel like football is the worst in the past. It's just split up, but mostly because I don't watch baseball. Baseball could be worse, or soccer, whatever. It does seem like it's getting so chopped between all these organizations. The only reason I
Real
bring
quick.
up, sorry, what were you saying?
So I was gonna say real quick, I'm just double because I haven't looked at it since the start of the season. So Monday is Peacock, Tuesday is Peacock or NBC, Wednesday is ESPN, Thursday is Prime, Friday is Prime or ESPN, Saturday is Prime or ABC, Sunday is ABC, NBC, or Peacock.
That's
That makes no
That's
sense.
ridiculous. It's Thursday right now. I'm watching this game on the local broadcast on NBC. So it's not
local's
even the
gonna have a
Amazon
lot of broadcast.
or
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
Local's always
Yeah.
gonna win out over the national, provider. So I think most games, I want to say, even when they're on national, like NBC Sports Boston's still gonna grab a bunch.
Yeah.
Spencer, the reason
Yeah.
I brought up production, which I get is not a major point. I say this because I watch a lot of football. Alec, I know you do too. But I don't really think most people are watching football because of like the halftime reporters or the pregame or whatever. I'm certainly not. I'm watching it for the game. But I'll tell you, the reason I bring it up for basketball is I think TNT set such a gold standard. And it's also why I think ESPN has been poor in the past. But man, the TNT halftime show with Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, I think it was almost entertainment, borderline just entertainment. Like they could be talking about anything and it would have been great. That's why I bring up production value, because I think TNT was so simple, but it was such an effort to make the entire broadcast better.
Yeah, I agree. And on that same point, like with NBC getting their national contract back, sometimes we have nights where we'll have NBC coast to coast as the national broadcast. So they'll like do like 2. I think last time I watched it was like Knicks Celtics and then Lakers Clippers on a back to back. I just don't like the broadcast. I'll go out of my way to watch Scal and Drew if on the local broadcast compared to like the Amazon one, the coast to coast, whatever.
I agree.
They call it better than I like. The broadcasters across the spectrum nationally, when they always have weird quirks about always glazing Joel Embiid on unrelated streams or whatever. So I go out of my way to kind of stay in this lane. I feel like they're well-rounded. I like what they provide. They're consistent. I think they're better. It's worth tuning into if you can get it, especially being local.
I'm not a huge Scal fan. I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I've
not
never
everyone
loved- I
can
don't
be
hate 'em.
Shaq and Kenny. Not everyone
Huh?
can be Shaq and Kenny,
No, I know. There's something about Scal.
Just know he's closer to LeBron.
He is. He
Amen to
is. He's something I can never reach for sure. But yeah, I think those are all great points. It is sad to see the streaming split as it is. I don't think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get worse. At the very least, if they can show out for the couple of games they do have to make it worth me putting down an extra few bucks a month to watch the game. If you love the game of basketball, I think you're going to love most things. Like that's how I feel about football. It's like I'm not watching for anything else but the game. So.
Got to get my hate take off real quick before we're done talking about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The TNT crew was great. It was funny. It was good comedy. However, how they actually talked about the game of basketball was kind of so stupid.
Yeah.
Like maybe as a casual, you'd be like, oh, haha, like that's a good point. That makes sense.
It's like
the person that like knows the NBA would be like, yo,
But
shut the fuck up, Charles Barkley.
I agree that what they said was almost detrimental to the game. But what I think is the broadcasts are there for the casual fan.
I'm giving them a pass though because they were hilarious.
They were hilarious.
I
They're
just
not
wanted to say
there
that.
for us, right? That watch every game, or whatever it is. They're there for the guys who aren't watching every game to keep them enticed. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, they did a really good job.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so that's.
And let me say one more thing. I saw this as a response to one of your tweets about one of the older episodes, but make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah.
It was about, you covered this at like the All-Star break last year, season 1. The viewership coming into the finals, the viewership on the NBA was down over 5 years net, like national and local broadcasts. And that was the first time we were starting to see this like diversification of who was streaming and when, and there was no rhyme or reason to the schedule. So the point the commenter brought up was viewership is down, is engagement with the league plateaued or even up? and people are just pirating streams because it's like, if I've got Amazon, but I don't have Disney Plus to pick up ESPN, fuck that. I'm not getting the subscription. Before Stream East got killed, I'd go there. Maybe Antonio Brown was going to live stream it on CT ESPN. You don't know. I would find other ways to engage with the league. I still support the teams. I go to the games. I buy merch sometimes, but I'm not for one game. I'm not going to make it harder on myself. So if you could metric that out, which I'm sure you could do it by like the main NBA account interaction, that'd be an interesting thing for the league to look at. Is like, are we too stretched out?
Sure.
I mean, the commissioner said before the start of the season, it's a highlights-based leagues. He
Yeah,
literally said,
terrible
"Go
one.
fuck yourself."
Yeah, Adam
before
Silver knows what
before
he's
the
talking
He
about.
said,
season
watch
started.
that shit on TikTok and shut the fuck up.
Said,
And Joe Mazzulla said, watch these two guys get in a fight.
"Yo,
Great point.
Jaylen Brown will review the game after on his live stream. You can just
Yeah.
watch it there."
Yeah.
God, great points. Good topic. Let's move on to the next. Next thing we want to talk about is we have the team in front of us. Like I said, we're 25 games in, whatever it is. We kind of know what the roster's looking like. We kind of have expectations with this team, but can we make changes? Do we think we're going to make changes? I think with a GM like Brad Stevens, you can never assume we're just going to sit tight. I think it was unexpected that we did in the offseason. We could look to improve before the deadline. Do you think we're gonna? Who would you like to go get? And who do you think we would give up for that? Alec, we'll start with you.
I think I agree. We could stay as we are. Not that I think we would. Like you said, Brad never sits still. He's always going to fleece somebody. I liked what Spencer said earlier. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. I think we're weak at center right now. I really like Teoh. I liked him in the G League. I thought he played good minutes on his 2A last year. Center ended up being our weakness. Honestly, it's maybe for Celtics fans, it's a hot take, but if we had Teoh and Cornette trading off against the Knicks instead of trying to get Porzingis in, we win that series easily. So I think that's where we're the weakest. We have Luka Garza, who I think just isn't working out. I hope he was kind of a depth guy on Minnesota and just wasn't getting the right minutes, but he just hasn't been fitting in the scheme.
He
runs
Garza.
weird.
I hate watching that pasty white boy run up.
He doesn't do much. I think you could still fool somebody into picking him up. And then Tillman, this is year 3 with the Celtics, 2 or 3, I want to say. He was supposed to come in and be the new Al Horford. Despite being 26, he's somehow the oldest guy on the roster. It doesn't make any sense.
He's 26, is that right?
26. He's not even 2 full years older than I am.
Really? Oh, God, I thought he was in his 30s.
No, he is 26. And I like Tillman. He seems like a nice guy. I had high hopes he would learn from Al and be like, pick up where that guy left off. That he just isn't, he doesn't have the energy or something. There's just, he's slow. I don't think he's tall enough, honestly, which is weird to say for a basketball player. So we need another center. Teoh is playing out of his mind. Absolutely keep him in as the starter, but he's gonna need to take a break eventually, right? He needs to have some time off, some alleviation in the rotation. We're finding a lot of success with that small ball lineup that Joe Mazzulla likes, and hey, again, if it's working, I don't have any issues. But other teams will adjust.
You're good with that? Is there anybody that you might find out there? You say you're thinking about the center position. Is there any big out there that you're like, I'd love to have that guy on my team?
I don't watch enough of the rest of the league, and definitely not center highlights to be able to definitively tell you we should go get this guy. One name I did see getting tossed around, and it was attached to levels of biblical greed that only Brad Stevens could pull off, is Zubac, who I looked into a little bit today. He's on the Clippers. The Clippers ship is, I think, sinking.
I think it's sunk.
Yeah, I think so too. So the question is, could we get him? I looked at the numbers. He's on a $20 million a year, 3-year contract. So off the bat, obviously we can't just trade picks for him or something. We'd be way over the second apron. Right now we're only $6 million below, which is not great. So we would obviously have to move pieces. I don't know who we would move. The bigger deal there would be offsetting payroll. I think you'd honestly be looking at 2 of the younger guys, maybe 3, or I don't know. I don't even know if you could get a contract restructure in there. I doubt the Clippers would play ball like that. But he's a guy I've seen tossed around. I mean, he's 7 feet tall. He seems like a good shot maker. Again, I haven't seen enough of his highlights, frankly, to definitively say on my own, we should go get him. But he's a name I heard tossed around.
Sure, yeah. No, I like Zubac. I I think you're picking out the right team. You got to look at these teams that are dog shit, that are like no hope left. All the
just
criminality they were doing in the beginning of the season.
trade in for picks and then send those picks to Oklahoma City for nothing.
But you bring up a good point. We're so strapped with the apron, and I mean, we lost all these guys to get under. It's like, what, we're going to add a guy just because we're doing good that adds to 20 million and puts us back on over. Like, I love Sabonis. I think Sacramento's kind of in the same area of they're just dumping it, and they even said they want to get rid of everybody. He's on like a $44 million a year contract. So this is not realistic for us. But in Zubac's 20, and that's not realistic. So
I mean, that's better.
I don't know. I think we can get there, but I agree. If we're making a move, I think we should look at center, but maybe we got to stay a little cheaper and look for somebody similar to like where Cornette was. I wish we had just re-signed Cornette. I don't know why he left.
Hey,
but
maybe we can get him back. He went to San Antonio.
But Montrose, you have a little bit of a different perspective, I think. You're comfortable with the team we have now?
Yeah, I think we're not like. I mean, I'm comfortable with it from a perspective of I'm still looking at it as a development season for everybody on the team, and then we still have a superstar in Jason Tatum coming back, maybe late this season, maybe next season. I don't know, but I'm not. I wasn't too. I didn't have high expectations for this team at the start of the year, so I don't want to add through trading or adding anybody else through maybe free agency or something like that. Like I don't want to add more pressure on this team or any sort of expectations. Oh, now we have X player. Now we have more playoff expectations. Like I'd just rather just stay where we are now with regular low expectations.
Sure. That makes sense to me. I mean, everybody kind of came in this season with Tatum's injury. Whether he would come back in April or not, it looks like a development year for these younger guys. I feel going out and getting somebody, we're pushing the bar. Is that the smart thing to do? I don't know. I'm going to put my hands in the Lord, Brad Stevens, to decide on that, to say, if we go get a guy, Tatum gets back, we can win a chip. Those are high expectations. Of course, we're Celtics fans. We come in every year thinking we want to win put a banner up. But yes, I think I lean more towards you of we were coming in thinking this is a development year. We should probably stick by that and just kind of ride out some of these contracts.
Seth and Tyson and all the other guys, they were clowning me at the start of this NBA season, being like, oh, like the Celtics are gonna be ass, Celtics are gonna be this and that. So I started clowning them like, yeah, Patriots gonna go to the Super Bowl and piss them off. So I'm chilling now. The Patriots are what, like 10-2. Celtics
we're number 2 in the
Celtics
AFC, so
Celtics are better than expected. So I'm
Shout out to
chilling.
the blue line breakdown for real.
Yeah, well, Seth is a Warriors fan, and they got Al Horford, who's dog shit this year.
He's bad enough with the Niners.
Good for him.
Hey man, no Al Horford disrespect. All right.
No, I know. He hurt my soul. He should have stayed. They're not doing anything. But
hey man, he needs a little bit more money.
We would need.
Yeah, they gave him money. He deserves it. I'm not going to clown him. So staying pat is kind of your mentality here. Spencer, we'll finish off with you. You think you have some major thought on this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like changes definitely have to be made. I think, we are finding a lot of luck with these younger guys, but we are sort of not in the business of developing players anymore. Like, Jalen and Tatum are not getting any younger, And I feel like we've seen teams make this mistake before, like with LeBron and the Lakers, like where they just threw a bunch of young talent around LeBron and they said, like, he'll figure it out. Like, I think a little bit of like a veteran presence, a little bit of like a league presence is helpful when you're trying to actually win games. Like, I think a lot of our success has come from our system so far. Anyway, let me sort of get to my point here. Unlike Alec, I do like watching some center highlights every once in a while. I do like to throw on some of these players. One of them that I kind of had in mind. I think we got to go get Nick Richards from the Suns. I don't know what kind of contract he's on right now, but we got to go get him out of there. No team has given him play time since the Hornets, and I feel like everyone forgot. He was like a
name I
20
have not heard in a
I was gonna say that's a name.
Yeah, you're pulling a name right now.
He was a 20-point, 10 rebound threat for months straight or something. I'd have to really fact check what I'm saying here, but I know you all remember how much of a household name Nick Richards became all of a sudden, and then the Hornets, because of a center, they had too many centers, so they had to get rid of them. They got something from Phoenix. I'm sure that became like a pick or something. Again, I haven't really looked into this, but regardless, I don't know what kind of contract he's on. We got to go get his ass out of Phoenix, man. He's 28 years old. He's a physical shooting big. I think he's like a 7-foot tall player. Regardless, we're missing that physicality that Porzingis wasn't exactly like a physicality, but I just think of the lineup: Nick Richards, Kata, and uh,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, that's one target. I'll tell you about my targets first,
Sure.
and then I'll obviously talk about what packages we can give up. But real quick, Santi Aldama from the Grizzlies, a 24-year-old, 7-foot stretch forward, EuroLeague player. In college, averaged 20 and 10. In 2024, he averaged 12.5, 6.4, 3 assists on the Grizzlies. That was the year that Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja were out for having a shootout in the backyard or something. I can't really remember the storyline, but we got to go get Santi Aldama. He's also stuck behind a lineup situation, and that's a young EuroLeague player with a lot of versatility, 7 foot tall. Again, fits our need for a big. And again, I just think our rotation looks a lot better with a guy like that in the lineup. Now, those are my two main ones that I've really kind of been thinking about. The other
You got
two,
one more for me?
yeah. I'll do one more because Daniel Tice is not a real option there, even though I do
I don't
like
think
him.
yeah.
In big
Go back.
2025, Daniel Tice.
Yeah,
Yo,
Put Enes
whoa.
Freedom in here if you're going to say Daniel
33.
Tice.
He's 33, man. Don't sleep on him. Javonte Green. I think Javonte Green could be a solid pickup. He's already familiar with the team. Small forward, but plays big. Anyway, that's my third pick. Now, real quick, packages we would give up. Not willing to give up our big guys, obviously. Anthony Simons would have to go because of a contract situation. But also, if we give up Simons for a big, we free up a redundancy with him and Pritchard, as well as fulfilling a need for a big. So I feel like that's just killing two birds with one stone. So Anthony Simons. Otherwise, it would be a Baylor Shireman or Ugo Gonzalez package.
So those are the two. I think you're kind of in the right direction here of what we would actually give up if there was something on the table for us. I think Simons is like the number one guy, which I like him, but it just seems like he's not meshing with what they want, or they're not getting as much as they expected out of him. And I think Shireman is like the second guy where it's like you have Gonzalez coming out. Hauser's still there too. And I thought Shireman was supposed to be like a Hauser replacement, but you're not getting a lot from Hauser. I don't even know if he's an asset, but maybe by getting rid of Shireman, Jesus, you would get more out of Hauser again. But I love those answers. That was great. That was like that was GM Brad Stevens right there. We're not giving
Just
you. I
throwing it
give
out
you
there.
Sabonis, Alex Zubac. Like we're picking names that we would love to see in a Celtics jersey. Those are legitimate answers that I think they would actually go to look for. Another name where I think they love him so much they wouldn't get rid of him. I would love to see Nick Claxton on the Celtics.
Yo, I was just gonna say Noah Clowney or Nick Sack.
I love Nick Claxton. I think he is a favorite of Brooklyn, so they wouldn't get rid of him. He's kind of like one of the only reasons they
How do you
are
feel about Noah
competitive
Clowney?
sometimes. You got more to say on that, Jake?
I was gonna say, how do you feel about Noah Clowney then? Same.
Yeah,
I
kind
feel like
of the
he's
same guy. And I
kind of
think
similar.
yeah, and that goes kind of to your point, Spencer, of like you're not looking for like a dominant big. You're looking for a pairing with Kata that ends up being more of a bruiser. Those are all good names, which kind of goes to show you there are options out there. And with those options, how does the team look? You're looking at with Claxton, the Nets. How are the Suns doing this year? I'm not even sure. They're not.
They're not.
coming
They're doing all right.
They're
bottom
fine. They're
5
not
in the
really
West right now?
utilizing. See, they just got Kaman Maluak, who I don't think they're really using him either. But
Yeah, and then who you said Javonte Green, right?
yes, Javonte Green is on the Pelicans.
Yeah, they're not. They never do nothing. Pelicans are bums. So those
So
are all.
We could realistically snag Noah Clowney.
I agree.
Mark Williams
He's
is
making like 3 minutes a year.
So if you see that guy out there, is that someone you're willing to bring in? Because honestly, I don't think you're giving up much for him.
Yeah, I'd do like an Anthony Simmons
Straight up.
or whoever. I'd do Anthony Simmons or I don't know, maybe one of the young guys for him. I don't know, just to get see how that looks.
Sure.
Because He's still a young guy. He doesn't have much pressure, so I don't think that would add much pressure to the team. That's my
Yeah.
whole issue.
I don't
And
want to
grab-
give up too many picks, but I forget who mentioned it. But going back to like, we're not doing as well at getting these guys to professional levels in a timely manner. So I wouldn't be like against throwing out a couple seconds, and seconds are like dog water in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean,
recently.
I just feel like Shireman is just not on the same timeline. Like, you know,
No,
and we're yet to see what Ugo is capable of, but you know,
I wouldn't want to get rid of the rookie without giving him a full year.
well, you just
And that's
gotta
more
look
of
at
just
what
like a
kind of
belief.
value we even have. What would people even take from us? I was looking at this. It's like
Yeah, I mean,
we can
you
give
could get rid
Luka
of him. Like,
Garza. Shout out Iowa. Nobody wants
Oh
Luka
God,
Garza.
can we just give them Garza? I'm sick of him.
we could send him to the G League.
Josh Minot.
See, I wouldn't want to get rid
guys
of
don't got
Minot.
the Hugo run?
That's the
Oh,
Garza
God,
run.
he's just
You know,
got a
but
lot
what
of
about
white guys on
Minot?
his team.
Again, I don't know what the contracts look like, but would you give up a Minot or a Ugo with an Anthony Simons for, you know? The thing is, the Clippers aren't going to give up Zubac. They have no reason to. He's kind of there. They would take Simons from us.
I don't know.
No,
we could
and I
get
don't
in,
think
like, a
that's
three-way
realistic. But it's just
trade.
going back to more of your players. I think we're looking at more of a single player swap.
Yeah, because it's not like we can give 3 players for 1 player. That just doesn't make sense. But
Right. But at that point, we're really just trying to dump the salary to get more under the apron. I don't think we're trying.
Right, and that was my
I don't
point.
think the
It's not
headspace
realistic.
in Missoula or Stevens' head is like, oh yeah, we're getting like value in terms of play. It's like, no, we're trying to still chip off the salary cap and then try to get a center in the meantime for it. And then you get Tatum back. So I think those are all great answers. I think though that's good to see all perspectives, right? Like there's those big names out there that if we really feel like it, we can make a jump. Staying pat, I don't think is a bad answer, but there's options as well. Like there's reasonable options that maybe they should have gone during the offseason. Like those are the guys you named are guys we could have had before the season started. So, and I really do think that's kind of an open spot. It's something we need to fill, whether they do that this off season or before the deadline. I'm not going to be against either way. I think there's pros and cons to either of them. But yes, I think in the end, something's going to happen. We're going to go get a center. I don't think they're going to wait to draft somebody. It's just going to be that way, that we got to get somebody from somewhere else. Going into the final question here, kind of the big one, 25 games in. Obviously, a lot of season to go, but we had expectations in the beginning and we're here now. And I'll open this up to every single one of you. Feel free to argue amongst each other. The big thing is now that you've seen out of this team that we can still be competitive in the East, what are you expecting them to not only get done before playoffs, but how far they will go in the playoffs? And part of that could be, do you think Tatum's going to be back in kind of the timeline that's getting pushed out there? Like I've heard March, I've heard April, obviously May on its playoffs. Do you think he'll get in before then? And do you think he'll be substantial in carrying us to some degree in the playoffs? Where do you think this team will be? Feel free, anybody jump in.
Yeah, as an aside, before we get going, I'd like to offer an update. The Bucks game is now 79-83. We're trailing. I think I just saw on the score bug we're 6 for 20 on field goals in the quarter here. So maybe a change does need to happen. I think regardless of that, and I'm trying not to contradict myself with what I started with, new expectation would be playoff team, not play-in team. I think we firmly get a spot. Your point about Tatum, I think that if we are primed to have a playoff spot and the rest of the East is in shambles and or hasn't bulked up in some way through trade or through injury recovery, then I think we activate Tatum late, probably middle of April, basically as late as you can. He looks great in these videos. I really don't have any concerns about him coming back, getting into the flow of the game. To me, it's all about minimizing future risk, right? I wouldn't want him to come back at the All-Star break, even in 2 months. I think that's way too soon. But if if it looks like we're primed and have a good schedule in the playoffs, then I say, yeah, fuck it. Let's gamble. Bring him back. We're going to have to let the new guys adjust to playing with him again and how this team's going to turn out. I think that's the only scenario you see him if we collapse at the end of the year, like end of the calendar year here or whatever. I think let him come back in September. There's no point in rushing him. I just don't. I think there's too high a risk of him getting re-injured, even though he had that ACL surgery like 2 hours after he ruptured it. It just doesn't make any sense to me to gamble like that. Like Spencer was saying, he's not getting any younger. We got to control things.
Sure.
I feel like there's a good chance we cool down. I mean, it's not like we've started incredibly hot, but
I'm watching it right
we
now.
are third in the East, sitting at 15 wins, 9 losses. It does feel like the teams below us could figure it out a little bit. Like the Magic are just below us. They feel like a team that could figure it out and kind of sneak by us a little bit. The only reason I say that is because it feels like we're sort of depending on the heroics of Jaylen Brown more than anything.
Yeah.
We're sort of like, how far can we bend him before he breaks? And
Yeah.
like that's it seems to be working somehow.
I
but-
also I kind of get where you're coming from because I don't think he can last the whole season.
Well, it's hard to say. He's never been given the chance, right? So that
No, but
and like
he's had other injuries too. He was playing through that MCL strain last season.
right. And to his credit, he's only missed one game this season, coming off of like a surgery and a pretty major injury. But I do just feel like he will eventually cool down, and unless Derek White kind of steps it up a little bit, barring us picking up a strong rotational center, I can totally see the Magic catching up. The Raptors, I'm not so confident in, but like, imagine if VJ Edgecombe figures it out over there with the 76ers. I would hate to see them become the younger version of us right before our eyes, but I do think
Yeah.
it's very possible.
I think
Are you guys at the moment? So yeah, teams can figure it out, but at the moment, are you like scared of anybody in the East,
I
or
was
do you
just
think?
thinking of that. Like, if you look at the rest of the rosters, there are like 3 complete teams in the East right now. I'd say the Raptors, the
that.
Magic, and the Knicks are the only people who are like, I mean, I guess the Nets, but they're not doing well.
The
They're the only
Pistons are
people-
number one.
Yeah, they're the only people who are like, yeah, we got everybody where we need them to be. The Sixers,
Crazy.
Embiid's riding the bench. Celtics, Tatum's still out. The Hawks, Trae Young hasn't come back as far as I know. The Wizards. Bucks, Giannis is trying to force his
They're a
way out.
mess.
I think he's hurt right now. There are other teams, whatever. But I think are more competitive right now because everybody's beat up. Pacers, no Halliburton, and they lost Miles Turner. They're in shambles. If, like I said, if the other teams figured it out in the interim, yeah, we'd fall. Even if we continue to play at the rate we are, I think they would eclipse us.
Sure, yeah. And Spencer, do you think Tatum might come in on the curtail of the season, or do you want him to?
Here, I pulled up a couple of headlines about this. Celtics leadership has refused to commit to a timeline, stressed the priority is fully healthy rather than rushing a return. So, like, as much as I love seeing those videos of Tatum putting up threes in the gym, like he said, like 3 minutes after he just tore his Achilles or whatever,
Yeah,
I think this is a
fanfare.
I think this is a pretty reasonable outcome, is to not rush him back. Let me see. But I also did find this. It says Boston has not applied for an official hardship waiver, which is used when a player will miss the whole season to like kind of give the roster a spot. I think the Sixers did a similar thing with Embiid and Paul George or something. I can't fully remember exactly, but
Yeah, last year.
it is interesting that we haven't done that. They're leaving the window open, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, when the organization themselves is not committing against it to say like he's definitely not coming back in, it's always food for thought to say they're giving hope that he might come back, and that almost goes to show too is like if he's ready, they'll throw him in. They're not saying, even if you are ready, we don't want to play you. They're saying, okay, we're not gonna limit ourselves. It's like if you're ready to go, we'll get you going. Jake, where are you? What do you think? One, do you think the expectations have gotten bigger? Is this just still a season of development? Do you think Tatum might be back? And really, what's your final thoughts on where we'll end up? I originally said I would think we would be a play-in team. I think I'm past that now, but I don't think we're going to be a top 4 team in the East still.
I think we're still closer. maybe a little bit more secure in a playoff spot, but I just feel like especially if without Tatum coming back, I feel like we're gonna end up still being a play-in team. But I don't know. My expectations are still play-in, or I guess late, or late seed playoff berth. But like, I think the national media has put more pressure on the Celtics recently more than anything else. Like, they've been talking about like, oh, Celtics are doing better than
Definitely.
expected. Maybe they can do this and that. But I'm just here for, like I said, if Tatum comes back at the end of the season, we make a playoff push, which I don't think. I'm 50-50. I just want him to be healthy. If I don't think he'll really come back this season, and I've kind of already accepted that, which is like kind of why I'm like, oh, this is a fun season. This is a development season. I'm happy with whatever happens, really. So to see where we're already at, I feel a little bit more confident, but I still feel like late playoff or play in, something like that for the end of the season.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I mean, would it be cool to see him come back? Yeah. I don't think it's worth it. I think we've been so spoiled with consistent playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA championship, whatever it may be, the past like 6 years, like 2019 to now. It's okay to take a year. Like, Jalen's going to go from 30 to 31. He's kind of the oldest guy, right? I mean, obviously there's older guys. Like, if your second best guy is going from 30 to 31, not much is changing, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. So I don't think it's a failure to just look at this and say we got to re-up and be prepared to go for the chip next year.
I think if we get into a play-in circumstance or playoff circumstance without Jason Tatum, I think that development for the young guys is going to be a lot more important than if Jason Tatum was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he comes back and he's fully healthy, then yeah, I'm all for it. But I'm not. Other than that, yeah.
Sure, yeah, and you make a good point of like, let these guys play through it. Going back to when Kyrie was on the team and Kyrie was injured, not saying this is the truth, but are Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum better players because of that early exposure of when they had to carry for the team? Yeah. And then it almost caused a problem because they felt, okay, we did this. We feel qualified to lead this team and not have Kyrie be such a star. But yeah, do those young guys need it a little bit? Definitely a good point. I think if we're looking at like May, we're a playing team. He's just kind of coming back. I think of last year's Magic series. They beat us up. And I don't think it's talked about a lot how tough they were with us and how I think that kind of trickled into the Knicks series. Yeah, we beat the Magic, but it just seemed like we were off a little bit playing against the Knicks. And I don't think that was totally because of New York. I think that was a little bit to do with what Orlando had done to us the previous series. Now, I would be afraid if he comes and steps in, it's a whole mess. If something like that, depending on our pairing.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody have any additional thoughts, some ending thoughts towards where we are in the season, or just anything else in general with the team?
I mean, even if we get to the playoffs, I think without Tatum, I don't know, we make conference finals. I think we get bounced in the second round. And then whoever wins the conference finals has to play the fucking Thunder. There's no way anybody, there's no way the Thunder loses to anybody this year, barring major injury or some miracle on the Nuggets. So really is a loss, you know.
I'm so tired of hearing about that, man.
I'm
starting to dislike Canada. For real.
I got a follow-up point about them. Maybe there's a special episode for that, but that's the last I'll speak of the Thunder.
Yeah, we didn't. Thanks for that thought. I mean, we didn't even really talk about the West that much, but yeah, I agree. I think I think it's going to be the Thunder, but I think anybody coming out of the West right now, those top 3 teams, top 4 teams, going to be tough matchup in the finals for anybody playing against them. So if we do miraculously Tatum gets back and we stretch ourselves, I don't see us beating that team in the end. Spencer, you had one more thing?
No, sir.
No, you all set? Jake?
My favorite part of recent Celtics games has been, since this minutes are up, has been watching White and Jordan Wall's bald ass run around the court.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
True.
It's always the little things, I think, when you have a season like this to really appreciate when you're sitting down and watching these games. And it's not the fourth quarter losing great leads that we have.
Like, Jordan Walsh is locked in from the jump, bro. He's going crazy bro's trying to get a different contract.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you got to appreciate. You got to appreciate these guys, developing. Minot was such a cool thing to see. It's like, did any of you know about him.
No.
Never heard his name once in my life.
No.
I had no idea who he was. Yeah, and I admitted to that within like the first 2 episodes where I'm like, I didn't even know we had this guy coming from Minnesota, I think, right? Like to see him playing like he is, where nobody was talking about him in the news. Nobody was expecting him to do much for the team. Like that's a great thing that you can cheer for the entire season. Every time he hits the court, you go, "Oh, nice, my Notson. Let's see what he does." Exciting player to watch. It's small things like that where when you're coming off of not only a championship, a season removed, things aren't looking fantastic, you got to learn how to appreciate the game in different ways, which I mean, we all watch. Some people that listen to this and some people that just watch Celtics in general are obviously more casual. Those are the small things I think we like to point out to say, focus on this. Like, it's great just to watch that. But that was great. Thank you guys for coming out today. I had a blast. That was great. Great topics, great discussions, great points from all of you. I'll tell you, I had no idea Tillman was 26. I thought he was like 30, 32 years old.
He's maybe a year older than you.
That's crazy.
On the flip side, over Thanksgiving break, I watched the Celtics game with my family, and my mom doesn't watch the NBA.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid, she goes, "Oh, I don't watch the NBA. It's all old guys." Jordan Walsh is out there making plays. She makes that comment. We're all sitting there. Look at him. He's bald and old. I go, "Mom, he's a rookie. Not a rookie. This is his first year on the
kid's 20.
Celtics. Like he was playing in the G League last year."
These guys are they're so fucked.
Dude, Jordan Walsh has been on like Instagram on like overtime and shit since he
Do you
was
guys
like,
remember back this Jesus Christ, this had to be like a couple years ago at this point, but back when he was playing like high school or college ball and he still had like some patchy hair?
yes, dude.
Y'all
yeah.
remember his highlight tapes? Bro?
Yeah.
Yo, that shit was crazy. Now he plays for the Celtics.
I mean, I think we're getting old. I think that's the problem.
That might be the problem.
Yeah, these guys are younger than us in the
You
NBA.
definitely are.
Terrible thought. Anyway,
Shout
thanks
out
for coming
Bronny.
out, guys. Long episode, great discussion, great topics. I want to have more of these as the season goes on. I'm tired of hearing myself talk on these things, so I'll definitely have you guys all back on. If you're watching and you're listening and you feel like you have some discussion or some topics you want to talk about, please reach out to me. I'm available. I'd love to have you guys on. Thanks for coming. Green Line Breakdown, episode 8. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.
Oh, serious.